What's up, everybody? I'm Metal Nick.
I'm Jeff Grindstoffer.
Oh, hell yeah.
Unplanned. That was good.
Yeah. Welcome to episode number 46 of Vinyl Bang. Today we are doing viewer's choice number 7 by an unknown person, Alex Cha. And again, we cannot be in any more gratitude, send any more of our gratitude towards Alex for coming up with some of these amazing and hilarious topics.
Dude, yeah, we owe Chow big time.
Mm-hmm.
Big time. He is our saving grace. We wouldn't have this show if it wasn't for Alex Chow. You know, because Nick and I, we get tired of talking to each other, and it gets awkward, and then Alex comes in and he's like, "Hey guys, talk about this," and then Nick and I are like, "Oh, hi Nick, hi Jeff, so yeah, thanks a lot, Shaw, for keeping me in contact with Nick.
No, these are all great. These are brilliant ones. And
Yes.
I just saw Alex the other night. Pig Destroyer played a show in DC. They played the 20th anniversary show for Terrifier. I was actually at the the record release show for Terrifier at the Auto Bar back in 2004. So that was fun to be there 20 years later. The band's a little bit more full now, and it was great. Good times. It was a nice, wet, rainy, cold night in DC, and Pig Destroyer absolutely destroyed it.
Nice.
So hats off to those guys. Thanks to Alex for everything that night. It was a very fun show, and thank you, Alex, for these topics. Let's not waste any more time here because these are some fun ones. These are some great ones, and I'm really excited because Jeff and I are gonna we're gonna have a fun time with this one tonight. The first topic, I've been framed. The way Alex described it is in the background. There's a lot of cool art stuff hanging and whatnot, and you can see it more so in Jeff's background. I usually just sit as close as I can to my record case, and sometimes I put records up so you can see these little, just some art because I do have some empty shelf space here right now, and I just wanted to fill them in. But Jeff, as you can see, has a lot of really cool art when he goes on the solo screen. If you guys ever wander in the background, when I was at his house, I wish I spent more time looking at it, but he has a lot of cool stuff, and he's going to show off some of them here in a bit. But the topic is show off your art framed from the background, and as always, my great co-host Jeff is going to kick things off.
All right. So I'm going to start off with saying that as much stuff as I have in the background here, I wanted to showcase this poster right here that always has like a light glaring on it because it's one of the coolest posters I own. It's a Wu-Tang Clan print from the show in September of 2022. It was the first show of the New York State of Mind tour in St. Louis, Missouri, and I've always wanted to like showcase that poster. You can see the W in the corner real well, but you can never see what the real print is. But anyway, I'm going to do other stuff that I have frames all through my house. I have prints and stuff all hanging out through the house. My loving wife, Melanie, lets me take over walls that I shouldn't, that she told me she wouldn't let me do, but I do it anyway because she's awesome. So I'm going to start off with a print that is not necessarily a show print. It has nothing to do with metal music at all. But in celebration of our South Park themed show, I am going to feature one of my favorite prints from one of my favorite all-time musicals, Cannibal the Musical, which of course was directed by Trey Parker. It features Trey Parker and Matt Stone and Dan Bakar and a lot of the people from the South Park universe. And this is absolutely one of my favorite prints. It's one of my favorite movies. Cannibal the Musical. I actually saw an actual production of the musical on March 25th of 2017. I drove to Nashville, Tennessee to see an actual Broadway or an actual play, an actual performance of this musical, and it was incredible. It was so cool. But yeah, this is my first print that I'm going to feature tonight, and like I said, this hangs up in my bedroom just because it's just one of my favorite prints of all time.
Hell yeah! I actually kind of have a funny story. Like and he's gonna remember this when he watches this episode. But years ago, Cha lent me that movie on DVD, and I've never watched it, nor have I never given it back to him.
You've never seen Cannibal the Musical?
No. Yeah.
You are missing out, my friend.
Yeah, I guess so.
Believe me, I know exactly what I mean when I say it's a spadoinkle day, dude. It's awesome. It's gory. It's great. You need to watch it numerous times. Love it.
No, for sure. I gotta find it somewhere.
But don't give it back to Cha. I mean, give it back to him at some point, but make him sweat it out.
Find it first. All right. My first art print that I am going to show off is something that was actually sent to me personally from the artist himself, Mr. John Dyer Baisley. This is the print work for the album Purple. I don't know if it's on the front. Yeah, you can see. Well, on this side, excuse me, you can see there's like the Baroness purple thing there, but on the back, I guess you can kind of see a stamp. But on the back also, he,
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like the frame itself, like, dude, that's and the stamp.
You see that right there?
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's embossed in there. But yeah, a couple years ago, John sent me this very, 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 very kind package. Had a lot of cool stuff in there, some rare stuff, a really nice handwritten card, handwritten letter on the back of one of his art prints, and then I got this with that on the back. And yeah, this was very special to me. I love Baroness so much. I missed them last year or I guess it was a year or two ago when Stone came out. They did an in-store in Baltimore, and I had to work that day. And I was a little bummed because I wanted to go out there. I think he had something for me, and I missed out on it. But John's an awesome guy. He's always been really nice to me over the years, and yeah, Baroness is just an incredible band, and I love this artwork. I love anything he does. Really, you can tell when you see his art, it's his. But
sure.
This is a cool album. I really enjoyed this one. This was some neat stuff, and just to have this on the back, and I hang it on my wall. It's one of those 2A glass.
That's very cool, dude. I've never seen a frame like that. Like, dude, that's really rad. I don't know what I would like put in a frame like that, but I've never seen one.
If you have something that's got stuff on both sides, I mean, that's really what it's for. But like
I guess I do have stuff like that, but
I know they make frames like this that you can I'm trying to think what the place is called.
Like Michael's or.
Yeah, I think I got it from Michael's, but or maybe no, I'm sure you can find it on Amazon, but there's places that make stuff like that. But I'm trying to remember. There's like a thing on. Well, it's not important. Not important. I'm pandering here.
We'll talk after the show.
For sure. What do you have next, my friend?
All right. My second print. We're doing 3 apiece, by the way, for everybody. For we didn't really go into detail about this. We're going to do 3 apiece, back and forth. My second print is from the latest Primus tour from this year, from 2004. I went to 2 different shows this year. I went to Madison, Wisconsin on August 2nd. That was my 23rd time seeing Primus. And then the next day, August 3rd, in St. Louis, Missouri, I saw them for the 24th time. And several episodes back, it was like the day after the show, I showed off the set list that I got from the sound guy that night. Like during the show, whenever they played Is It Luck, I'm like, dude, I have to try to get this set list. So I went and got it, blah, blah, blah. Well, while I was at the show, they have these VIP options where people get to go in and do a Q&A with the band and get their pictures taken with Les Claypool and, blah, blah, blah. I did this back in like 2016 or 17, I think. But whenever they do these Q&As, they do a special VIP print for the people that pay for the VIP. And whenever I saw people walking out from the VIP experience, I'm like, what's the poster look like? And they showed me. I'm like, God damn, I have to have one of these. That is so cool. Well, a week or so after the tour had ended, the artist that did the print put up 75 of them for sale, and I wound up getting one. This print is so badass. It is of course, a replicant of or rendition of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band by the Beatles, and there are several different references to different Primus things that I'm not going to be able to point out because this thing is huge, and I got the glare. But like, here's the guy from the Rhinoplasty album.
Oh yeah,
stuff coming out of his head.
God,
this was hard to do backwards to point all this out. Captain Shiner from the Tales from the Punch Bowl is in there somewhere. But just everything, like, this was such a cool print.
Yeah, that is awesome.
And I absolutely had to have one. There, I have number 14 of 75.
Oh, killer.
14 of 75. Yeah, there were only 75 of these done because whenever they do the Q&As, you get them pre-signed. I'm not a fan of pre-autographed stuff because it's just that there's no story behind it. There's no, oh, I waited for 3 hours in the freezing rain to get this stuff autographed. Like, no, I bought it this way. Like, I'm not a fan of pre-autographed stuff. And I'm like, I don't want a pre-autographed poster. I just want one without the autographs. And I got one. So,
yeah.
Very happy with that. And it looks awesome. It's an awesome print.
Yeah. For sure. That really did look cool. I like that a lot. That was a neat one.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
So, moving on. My second one is I think the last time we shared prints was during the Ross episode, and this one in particular I shared a print actually in that episode that was pretty big deal to me. It was the first time I ever saw Sleep. It was at Maryland Death Fest. I had a photo pass that weekend, so I was up in the media pit, but damn, I forgot the name of the photographer. I should have looked this up beforehand, but he's from like the New England area. I thought his name was like Tim or something. But anyways, this photo was taken on May 26, 2013 in Baltimore, Maryland, in the streets of Baltimore, Maryland, right in front of Sonar. This was the first time I ever saw Sleep.
Nice.
Good shot of it, but the thing that, let's see if I can get my face in there, but can you see that right there in the front?
I do. Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You and your camera, right? Dude, that is fucking rad. Hell yeah, man. Right up front, Nick. That is awesome.
Nice shot with all of them in it. Yeah, like this guy, he was selling prints of it. I got another good shot of like from the Matt Pike side, and it's got like his his whole back tattoo and everything, and you see me like posted right up in front of him taking pictures. But like, this was an awesome one I have hanging on my wall, and it's not like a print or anything. It's not numbered. He just this guy like made prints of his photos. But this happened to be a great shot of Sleep playing the first time I ever saw them with me like right up front taking pictures. This is means a lot to me, you know. It's like I said, it's not a numbered print, it's not a show print, but it's got some sentimental, some value, so a lot of sentimental value to me because you know, Sleep is a big band to me. That the first time seeing them, I was so stoked. I remember, excuse me, I remember finding out months before Sleep got announced on Death Fest because I used to talk to Ryan a lot, and he came over to my house one day and told me this, and I like hopped on Facebook. I was like, I secretly was like, stoners get ready, but like, oh man, that was great. It was a fun time seeing them, and that was a fun weekend. There were a lot of good bands on that weekend, but yeah.
Dude, that really is awesome. That's a good picture review too. That's
yeah, rad. That was a fun one. I believe you were there that weekend.
At Death? Was it Death Fest?
Yeah, 2013. So I'm trying to think who else played that year. Yeah, Pig to Shore played, so you were definitely there. Pig to Shore played the side stage.
Yeah, dude, I was definitely there.
Yeah, you were absolutely were.
We did.
Carcass played.
We filmed some stuff with David Hall, or no?
Yeah, we did, because that's the only reason I was. That's the only reason I was filming Sleep. I mean, I took a bunch of pictures and then I started filming for Dave, but
right.
Nothing ever came of that stuff. I think they made a DVD that year.
I don't remember. I really can't remember if they did or not. I know I've got a Maryland Death Fest DVD, but I don't remember if it's from that year or not. But that was the year that like Weed Eater, Melvin's,
Down,
Carcass,
yeah, Brujeria.
Yeah, I was definitely there. That was a fucking killer weekend, dude. That was the best Melvin show I've ever seen, ever. Best Melvin set ever.
That was really fun. I remember that a lot. That was my first time seeing them, and I got really cool picture. I took that picture of you in Buzz.
Yeah, where I was behind Buzz. Yeah, that was a really good picture.
Yeah, it was awesome. All right, sir.
All right. Saving the best for last. I've been taking notes from Greg Weeks, saving the best for last. Speaking of autographs and autographed prints, and me not being a fan of getting pre-autograph prints, this is a big one. This is from last month, whenever Nick flew out to Chicago, and I picked him up in Chicago, and we followed Pig Destroyer, the Red Cord, and See You Next Tuesday around for a couple of days in October. The first night, whenever the bands all played at Reggie's in Chicago, Nick and I were looking through merch before the doors opened, and just to get first dibs on merch. And whenever I was standing there paying for my Pig Destroyer stuff, I looked over and I was like, I saw this huge ass frame with a pink Post-it note that said that had $20 written on it. I'm like, do you want $20 for that pre-framed thing? And they were like, yeah. And so I bought this huge framed flyer from that show at Reggie's. I know my voice is probably going to get blocked from doing this, but this print is about as tall as I am, but it was autographed by every member of Pig Destroyer. AJ apparently is the one that drew this red thing at the top that's me. I know you can't see it real well because of the glare and everything, but it's got glasses and the mustache and the beard and everything. But everybody signed it, AJ, and there's no way I'm going to be able to point to all of these. But J.R. Hayes signed it. Here, this is James Watson from See You Next Tuesday. The Red Cord guys all signed it in black ink, so it's all like over the red cord. And then our good friend Alex, who this episode was written by, wrote to Jeff, Vinyl Bang Forever. Personally autographed by everybody in the band. I got my VIP wristband from this show in here. This hangs up proudly in my kitchen, in our dining room area. Love that print. That was such a fun weekend with everybody, and harassing everybody in Detroit to sign that was like, I almost felt like weird, because I'm like, did you sign that? Did you sign that? Did you sign that? Did you see that? Did you sign it? Like, but it was so much fun, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad I have this awesome print.
Hell yeah.
To commemorate that weekend.
Certainly a fun weekend, and everybody gladly signed that for you. That was cool.
Yeah, cool as shit.
Cool as shit. All right, my last print coincidentally happens to be a Pig Destroyer weekend as well, but not from Chicago and Detroit. This was a couple years ago in 2019. This was in Baltimore, and Jeff, you were here for these. This was a two nights of terror at the Metro Gallery in Baltimore. Pig Destroyer headlined both nights. The first night, Friday, September 13th, had Cloud Rat, Cemetery Piss, Impalling Infection. Sorry, Alex, if I'm butchering that. And Virginia Creep. Virginia Creep being JR's band. And then on Saturday, September 14th, Outer Heaven, Red Death, Nomos, and Zealot. Zealot being Blake's side band. And this is the poster. I got some stuff in here that I put. I'll show you in a minute, but it's kind of like Pumpkinhead, but it's Trumpkinhead. I got my Blake Memorial card on this side, and then over here is this picture that I got taken at Maryland Death Fest 3 of me and the OG Pig Destroyer, and I believe Blake took this photo. But This is also signed by everybody. As you can see, where is it? Fuck you, Nick. That's Blake right here.
That's Blake.
Carcass Bros. That's Travis. Travis and I both have Carcass tattoos, so we always touch each other with our tattoos to power up because we're just hilarious like that. But yeah, the entire band signed this for me. Scott, Adam, all over here. I don't remember what number this is, but and then I also have the foil one of it. Same deal. Yeah. The top, the moon, and some of the bands on the bottom are in foil, and I think Trump's little face right here, his eyes. This is a cool ass print. I have these hanging above my television, and I wish I had a frame that I could just put them both in. But this was a very fun weekend. A few days later, after this, I got hired at this really awesome job that I work at, and yeah, this was a great time, good time in my life. I remember having a blast this weekend with you, Melanie, Blake.
Frank Wang was there.
Yeah, Frank was there.
Frank come down. Frank come out.
Frank did come out. That's true. That was awesome.
That was the weekend. That was the weekend that I met Jade Stevens, the guy who lives like an hour and a half away from me. I met him in Baltimore. Like Blake introduced us. I'm like, holy shit! Look at this guy. Like, you know,
dude, that's crazy. Because I remember him like hitting me up like on his way home. Like we were at the Club Metro, whatever that was up the street. I can't remember what it's called. Where Blake always goes to drink. We went up there. And he sent me a friend request. I'm like, who is this guy? And Blake's like, oh, you didn't see him at the show? And I was like, no. And I remember talking to him. He said right after the show ended, he just drove home. And I'm like, what are you, Grindstuffer? But yeah, Jade is an awesome dude. I wish I would have met him that weekend. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah, Jade rules. I've also got, not to derail Jade and his awesomeness, but I also have the foil print hanging up right there.
Yeah, I can see it in your background.
Is in the background, and my standard print is off here to the side somewhere, along with all my other stashed stuff that I don't have in frames yet. But yep, my foil is right there. I love that print, man. That's such a good print.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah. All right, this next one is a. We're moving on to the next category. By the way, we're done with the prints. 3 prints.
Let's talk about some records now. Let's talk about some vinyl, huh?
There we go. I always love to show off prints. I don't have as much as Jeff, so I think I really blew my load in the episode we did with Ross, because I showed off some really cool ones in that episode. But I have no problem with breaking those old ones out again in case people didn't watch that episode, but a lot of people did. Anyways, moving along. Next topic: Swan Song. Favorite final album or last album by a band.
Yeah. This was hard to come to terms with, that this was actually a final album from this band. But there's been a couple articles that have been circulating over the last couple of weeks. That was an interview with Buzz Osborne of the Melvins, who is also the guitarist for Phantomas, saying that he doesn't think that Phantomas will ever reunite again, and that just kind of derails the whole new album thing. Even though Phantomas is all Mike Patton. All the music, everything is all written by Patton, and he just tells them their parts, and Buzz and Trevor Dunn and Dave Lombardo just play whatever Mike Patton tells them to play. So getting past that, the final Swan Song album from Phantomas is, of course, Suspended Animation. It was released in April of 2005. They recently re-released it officially released this album on vinyl earlier this year for IPCAC's 20th anniversary. They started on April 1st of 2004. In 2024, they finally issued this album on vinyl. I have every pressing on vinyl. I should have done the first one. This is a puke green vinyl, which of course is a reference to the IPCAC. The second is a Indie exclusive silver streak vinyl, which I bought from Rough Trade Records in New York City. when my wife and I went to New York a month or two ago, a couple months ago. We went to Rough Trade and I bought the indie exclusive there. They have a black vinyl, a standard black vinyl, which is the album that gets, or the pressing that gets the turntable treatment, because it is, of course, the standard black. I don't want to hurt any of the nice pressing. The next one is a clear pink vinyl. And last but not least is the exclusive, very, very detailed. It's a different cover. This one is an actual calendar. This is the Strawberry Jam vinyl, limited to 1,000 or so, I think. But this copy comes with an actual calendar, which is the topic of the album. Every song is a different day in April 2005. There's April 1st, April 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and so on and so forth. This copy had to have a copy with the actual calendar, just because I forget what year that it's going to come back around to where these are actually going to be like right. It's going to be the actual like Monday, April 1st, Tuesday, April 2nd, whatever the scenario is. But I think it's like 2029 or some shit, I think is the year that it's actually going to sync back up. To go along with this, I'm going to showcase the actual original CD that I bought in April of 2005, which is, again, the same calendar, same artwork, everything's all exactly the same. It's an actual calendar. I bought recently, within the last year or two, bought a sealed copy just to have, because, it's an awesome thing to have. They did a digipack version that is not the calendar, that is still sealed. I just, being the completist I am, I had to have every copy of it. And finally, the promotional copy, which, God, I hate my camera. Promotional use, not for sale. This is the promotional CD for promotional use only, not for sale. Had to have every copy of this album that I can. I love this album tremendously. I love Fantomas. I love everything Mike Patton, majority of everything Mike Patton does. I haven't heard everything, apparently. But yeah, Fantomas is a fun project, and it is as disheartening as it is to know that this is the final album from Fantomas. What an album to go out with. Absolutely amazing album. So
Interesting. I saw them in 2005 at 930 Club with The Locust. So
yeah,
that was my Fantomas story.
It doesn't sit well still. I'm so jealous you got to see them with The Locust, man. That's so rad. In a club, no less. So jealous. So jealous.
I saw the Terrence and Phillip movie, Who Wants to Touch Me? I said it wasn't touch me. Yes, that's nice. All right. My pick isn't going to be as extravagant as Jeff's, because I only have one pressing of mine, but I actually had to dig into my box set to pull this out, because it's the only pressing I have of this. But my favorite last album by a band is by one of my favorite bands in general, and that would be Pantera's Reinventing the Steel. This is a cool fucking record. I get a lot of slack from people when I tell them I like this record. They're like, that album sucked. I'm like, I love this record. I remember it coming out and just being hooked on all these songs. Let's see what pressing this is. Gold Translucent. Ooh. I know a couple of years ago, I think Revolver repressed all the Pantera albums. Some of them were numbered. Some of them were just like white with like black smoke color in them. But I remember this album coming out. I was so stoked. I had a friend drive me to Circuit City, and I bought a copy of this on CD. Hellbound, Goddamn Electric with Kerry King's solo at the end. Yesterday Don't Mean Shit. You've Got to Belong to It. Revolution Is My Name. Death Rattle. We'll Grind That Axe for a Long Time. Uplift. It Makes Them Disappear. And I'll Cast a Shadow, which was the last Pantera song on an album ever. Kind of a cool song. I love this album a lot. I remember seeing them twice on this cycle. Once at Ozfest 2000. Phil was really shit-faced drunk on that show. It sucked. And then the last time I saw the Pantera was in Towson, Maryland, in a giant basketball gym, and it was fucking amazing. They They had Soulfly, Morbid Angel, and Nothing Face opened that show.
Nice.
Yeah, this is a great fucking album. I love Pantera a lot. One of my favorite bands. I haven't talked too much about them on this show, but I really do love this band a lot. I've seen them twice with the reunion as well, so it's good to see that their stuff is getting repressed again. Because I just recently bought the Great Southern Trendkill because that's an album that I love a lot that I'd like to own and spin on vinyl, so I don't have to crack open this box set that I got behind me. But
Right.
yeah, this was a good final album. Like I said, a lot of people's hated on this. I don't know why. To each their own. I like this one a lot.
Mhm. I'm indifferent about it. I mean, I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's just it's it's okay. But
Mhm.
it's my 2 cents. My favorite Pantera was Far Beyond Driven. It's just my personal opinion, but
For sure.
that's a good album for sure.
Yeah,
A
I
good
agree
swan
with
song
you.
album.
I'll agree with you on that one as well. Far Beyond Driven is my favorite one as well. I yeah, I don't know what I was gonna say there, but Pantera was just no. I had some comment here, but my cat's doing something stupid and he distracted me. So
Cats.
no. The year that came out, the year 2000, metal was a weird year. I mean, bands weren't putting out the same material. A lot of these bands were not putting out the same material that they were putting out at that time. But uh, I really didn't give a shit. Like Pantera was at that time probably was my favorite band, and yeah,
Mhm.
I enjoyed that one a lot. They were one of those bands who I loved their discography from start to finish. So, but
Touche.
yeah, moving on. Oh, this is a cool one. Remember that stupid year? Favorite record by a band formed during COVID.
This one actually, like I couldn't remember any bands that came out during COVID. It took some research and trying to figure out, what actually happened during COVID because it was just such a, just block it out more than anything, But the one band that came out during the pandemic that I am a fan of, like the idea really sounded great to me. The members of different projects coming together to do something. I am not as well versed with this band as I should be. Um, I listened to them a lot whenever they were releasing stuff on Bandcamp before the vinyl was actually released, and I have not listened to the record. I should. I really should. And this brought to my attention that I really need to do this. I am referring to High Castle Teleorchestra. This band is a super group consisting of various band members from Stratosphere and Mr. Bungle, namely Bear McKinnon, who was the saxophonist for Mr. Bungle in the original lineup, and his involvement along with Tim Smollins from Stratosphere really captured my attention and made me want to pick up this album. I need to give this a spin to really give this another shot. 4 years later after I bought it, they released a couple of 7 inches previous to them releasing this, and it's awesome. It's really awesome material. I just haven't given it a chance, and maybe it's because it was released during COVID. It was just like it's that whole year that people just like kind of want to forget about. Or I did anyway. I mean, it was just like, work and home, work and home, work and home. There was no shows, there was no anything fun. It was just like, it was such a bleak 12, 14, 15 months, whatever it was. And it was just like, kind of want to forget it, but it's not fair to them. It's not fair to the band. I should actually go back and listen to this. So that is on the itinerary as well. So check out High Castle Teleorchestra, The Egg That Never Opened. This is the Radio Free Albumeth Part 1. It even comes with a digital download card. I still haven't listened to it. So, yeah. Up next, this is next up on the turntable. I actually listen to High Castle Teleorchestra. So.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, my pick is a little weird because I'm not quite sure. So I know I discovered this band during COVID. I know several how things I think believe several things were released during COVID. Bandcamp Friday became a thing because bands couldn't tour anymore, and Bandcamp really stepped up and helped out a lot of independent bands who relied on their merch and their music for their source of income. And if you don't know what that is, they would instead of taking their cut, Bandcamp instead of they taking their cut from what bands make on sales for music, merch, whatever, 100% of the proceeds would go to the bands, and they still do those often. And this was a band that I discovered through there because a lot of people were showing off what they were purchasing, and I kept seeing these pictures of hyenas. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Now, I don't own the OG stuff, but I'm just going to show off the discography of a band called Internal. This was just something that I found one day because I kept seeing these hyenas, and if you can see what that is, it's a hyena with a lion's head in its mouth.
A lion's head in its mouth, yeah.
Yeah. This is, as you can see, the cover is blue. There's a red one. Let me see here. Yeah, it's just one side, but the red one has like an etching on it, and it's way more rare than the blue one. I was, like I said, I'm always late to the game with this band because like doesn't get advertised really hard, but it's a one person band. It's and this gentleman put out I think several albums during the COVID, and then they all got pressed on vinyl somehow, and everybody was getting their hands on them. And again, I was super late. I just checked it out based to see what it was, and it's sounds a lot like that band Crossed Out, or it's like worship of that band. Really like power violency and thrashy at times, but it's I'm proud to say it's something I was able to get Blake Harrison into. Um, Somebody else put out the discography. This is at least the demo, the scrape sessions, and the carve sessions on a 7-inch.
Nice.
Um, tons of material on here. Look at this fucking shit, man. The trials of life. Cool rainbowy sticker here. This person. I think this came from Manila. The person who pressed these, but I try to get my hands on anything I can of this band. I'm super late. There's also a label, Practiced Hatred that's put out a bunch of their stuff, and they pre-sell the test presses and everything. And I again, this is something I discovered during COVID. It was I think this guy just recorded a bunch of shit and then released it, however he did, and there's vinyl of it out there. Some of it I've seen on. It's expensive. Like the scrape stuff is really what I'm looking for, and it's people are asking like $150 for a 7-inch. So
Wow.
you can imagine my frustration there. I've seen it at one point for $75, and I slept on it. And but that's a band again that I really fell in love with. It was a COVID find, I should say. I don't know if he had this project drawn up before COVID started. He may very well have, but it's a really cool project. I remember briefly, shortly before Blake passed away, he put out digitally just put out for free like a cover album, a bunch of punk songs, and I sent it to Blake, and I remember he was pretty stoked on that. So,
Nice.
yeah, that was my COVID find from that stupid year. That year was a little whack, and some dumb shit happened, but
yeah, yes, it was. Glad it's behind us.
Absolutely. Moving on. Let's forget that dumb year and topic number 4. Alex is great. La Bang de Vinyl, your favorite import album.
He's so creative. Like, not only does he come up with these topics, but just the way he sends them over to us is just great. Very, very creative individual, that Alex Shaw. trying to pick out the perfect import for this topic was, I don't know. It's like, you get a lot of imports. You get a lot of stuff from, like Nessie is all imports. I got a lot of the Nessie pressings.
Mhm.
And I don't know. Trying to narrow it down, like Nick had said something whenever we were discussing this the other night, something about Faith No More, and I'm like, yeah, dude, I have Faith No More imports. So I'm going to focus on probably the very first import I ever got whenever I started collecting records. An internet friend from one of the old message boards I used to frequent back whenever I started using the internet, got a hold of me and asked me if I would like to have a copy of this particular 12-inch single because she knew how big a fan of the band I was. And I'm like, I would love to have this, if you're just going to send it to me. So she sent me straight from Europe, an import of Faith No More's Epic, a 12-inch single for the song Epic. And dude, this thing is like, I mean, it's authentic. It is an actual, like, it has wear and tear from 1989 in OG press from, it says taken from Kerrang's #1 album of 1989, The Real Thing, made in the UK. Lots of authenticities with this album, with this 12-inch. But the first side one, is Epic, the regular track taken from the album. Side 2 is War Pigs Live, Surprise You're Dead Live, and Chinese Arithmetic from the previous album, Introduce Yourself, which was pre-Mike Patton during the Chuck Mosley years. But still, a very, very cool thing to have. It's got a couple of dings, like the corner's got a little bend in it, which is, fine. It's got a little character to it. It's not perfect, it's not pristine in any way, in any shape or form, but still an OG press and very, very awesome to have. There's just this collage on the front. The cover itself it's not embossed, but it looks like it is. Like it looks like the letters are kind of sunk in, But it's an awesome. Again, probably the very first import vinyl whenever I started collecting records 14 years ago. Awesome import to have. So that was the perfect one to feature for that topic. And greatest band in the world, Faith No More. So there you
go. Gesundheit.
Bless you, baby.
Yeah. That's cool as shit you have that. That's,
that's awesome. I love the fact that I own this.
Oh, fucking yeah. War Pigs Live. What a great song. Yeah, mine, drop that there. Mine is something I recently got my hands on maybe a couple months ago. This is actually something pretty cool to have. This is a Japanese import of Motley Crue's second album, Shout at the Devil. You see the pentagram there on the cover. Oh my God. This is I was a big Motley Crue fan growing up as a kid. I love this album in particular. Is really cool. It's got a Beatles cover on it, Helter Skelter. Yeah, cool stuff. It's got these chicks on the back. No, please don't sue me. Yeah, Motley Crue is awesome. I mean, if you knew me when I was a kid, especially in the third and fourth grade, you knew what this band meant to me. They were fucking incredible. Like I said, I purchased this and another one of their albums, Japanese import. It's got the Obi strip on it, but I guess you can open it up. It's not going to do anything. Boom. That's what they look like.
Yeah, that's definitely Motley Crue in the 80s.
What they used to look like. Tommy Lee still kind of looks the same. Yeah, one of my favorite albums that's growing up as a little kid, and it's certainly a cool piece of a cool thing to have. It's an import. I feel like I have a lot of records that are from Germany or from the UK or whatever. So like technically those could be imports, but like I said, I like the stuff with the Obi strips on the side. I think those are always fucking awesome and fun to have. So,
Absolutely.
as you mentioned, Nessie, big shout out to that guy. I don't know if he's still doing anything anymore, but he's always done some. His Obi strip work is fucking on point.
Yeah, the Obi strip. I mean, just the sound quality on, if nothing else, it's just amazing work.
For an import record, yes, the sound quality is great. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Shout out to that dude. Shout out to all people who make import or just press vinyl in general.
Yes. Thank you to people overseas that send us records.
Shout out to all of you. This next one is a fun one because I have a lot of records in my collection that could have gone with this one, but I had to look at my Discogs for a lot of these. Anyways, Plenty of Room on the Boat. Favorite split released on a 12-inch.
This one I kind of chose. For one, it's a band that we don't talk about enough on the show. This band does not get enough attention. And plus, I'm tired of talking about Cattle Decapitation whenever I bring up Travis Ryan. So I decided to go with a split that his project 5-5-2000 did with another band called Naja. This is the Toompizza. I don't know. Whatever it is, I'm going to get a call from Travis telling me the correct pronunciation because I butcher everything. This is, of course, the split Naja 5-5-2000. The split side of it, or the actual audio, track one is Span, Spahn from Naja, and then 3 tracks from 5-5-2000. Or it's actually just a separate track, but it's got 3 different parts to it. It's got Shadows in the Valley of Death. A is Sunbleached and Osseous. B, Dead Flora. And C, Dawn Ascends on a Dead Valley. And not only is this a vinyl, but it comes with a CD. So actually, got the CD to go with it. And I'm pretty sure this was just a standard release, like everybody that got the vinyl, the CD automatically comes with it, I'm pretty sure. But 5-5-2000 is, of course, Travis Ryan, our very good friend Travis Ryan of Cattle Decapitation and Anal Trump and all that stuff. He's one of the greatest people I know. He was in this project that he had with Nathan Berlinguet. I'm definitely getting a phone call after if he ever sees this episode, because I know I butchered that guy's name too. This was their part of the split was recorded in October 2006 and October and November of 2007. This project again does not get enough attention. Everybody knows Travis for Cattle or Murder Construct or Anal Trump, and the stuff that he's widely known for. But this noise project that he has is actually really good. It's actually worth checking out if you're unfamiliar with 5-5-2000. Check it out because it's different, but it's definitely a cool thing to have in your whatever the hell this is.
Collection.
Yes, in your musical arsenal.
It's a sign language for collection.
Collection.
That's great. That's really cool. I for the longest time I only thought he had that CD that I always saw he sells at shows, but well, that sounds like a oh well. It sounds like a song from the 80s. Anyways, Ryan sells CDs at shows. Anyways, yes, I've never really checked too much. I remember a couple months ago you showed something really cool from it was like a mirror that was like all like sealed that he told you not to open, but look.
Yeah, they were selling it on the Cattle Decapitation on the Cattle tour, and I asked him, I was like, because I didn't get it, I was like, what the fuck is the mirror for? He said it's reflection music. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it? That makes sense. Reflection music.
This artist guy.
Yeah, he's artsy fartsy.
For sure he is. All right.
Moving on.
I thought I was gonna go the easy route with this one and choose Poacher Diaries, which I talked about a lot on here, and that's probably my favorite all time split. But I thought a little bit about this. I remember I was going through Discogs, and then I saw that I had this, and I was like, oh yes, I should talk about this because I don't talk about one of these bands enough on here, and one of these bands contains a gentleman who I'm good friends with, and I'm a big fan of a lot of the stuff he puts out. This is a split between Cannabis Corpse and Ghoul. Uh, Ghoul put out an album years ago called Splatter Thrash, and when these two put a split together, it's called Splatter Hash, because of Cannabis Corpse. But you can see there's like drawings of all these dudes on the front there. Cool stuff. This came out on Tank Crimes. Yeah, come on. No year on here. I'm sorry. This is the Splatter Hash vinyl. I guess I don't know what the pressing info was. I don't think they don't often give the pressing info over at Tank Crimes, but oh, wait a minute. There is a insert inside. I can probably tell you what year this came out. No, I fucking can't. Wow.
Dude, that's awesome. I never knew about that split, but Splatter Hash, dude, that's awesome. The Cannabis Corpse kept up with the weed,
I also have a test.
Oh shit! Very nice. It was at 18 of 20.
Yeah,
dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, I collect a lot of shit. A lot of stuff, a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
So, but Cannabis Corpse, those dudes are awesome. Phil Hall's an awesome friend of mine. So was his brother Josh has always been very nice to me. I'm not as close with Josh as I am with Phil, but Josh and I are cool. And the Ghoul guys, they've always been nice to me. I mean, I'm not like tight with any of them, but anytime I've seen any of those guys backstage, mainly Ross has always just been a nice guy. But it was cool as shit that these two bands did a split together. It came out on Tank Crimes. The Inhalation Plague, Shatter Their Bongs were the songs by Cannabis Corpse. Ghoul did Inner Sanctum and Spill Your Guts. Back, it's got the Weed Monster and one of the Ghouls. Awesome fucking artwork. I think there's more pressings of this, but I don't know what all I got. But yeah. Favorite 12-inch split there. Plenty on the boat.
I want to track that down. I want to hear that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Ghoul, but I know enough of their stuff that was just like, that would be a fun fucking split to hear.
I have a Ghoul album somewhere. It's like a glow in the dark and vinyl, and I think that the record's like a game or something like that. Yeah, Ghoul's cool. They had I think I have. I gotta check. I think I have some more like Splatter. I think Splatter Thrash got re-released on Tank Crimes. Maybe I don't know. I gotta check my collection. I don't know what I have from Ghoul, but their earlier stuff was cool. There was a song called Graveyard Mosh that I always loved. But yeah, there it is. Our 12-inch splits. I got a bunch more, but that one always stood out to me. And I was going through my Discogs, I saw that and I was like, yes, good time to talk about Cannabis Corpse because I've never talked about it. I've talked about them once before on the show, but still.
That was one of the reasons why I did the 5.5 2000 because like I couldn't, I've never talked about them before, and it's just like this is a perfect way to bring up Travis's other projects.
All right. This next topic. What the favorite band that begins with the
Vinyl Bang. The next topic. This isn't my favorite band that has the, because people go back and forth about the Melvins or just Melvins, or even this band I believe at one point even dropped the and just go by Smashing Pumpkins. But I wanted to talk about this monstrous ass thing, this box set for Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. What an album, dude. I mean, this thing is like, I saw them on this tour. The only time I ever saw the Smashing Pumpkins was when they were touring for this album, and I could never see them again and die happy. It just don't care anymore. Just kind of fell out of them since. But this album is incredible, absolutely incredible. And I don't know if I really need to go into the entirety of this thing, but like, I mean, there's four discs, four vinyl that have the entirety of the album in itself. But like the CD came in a 2 CD set, but whenever it came out back in the 90, I don't even remember what fucking year this was, 90 something. The book is an actual representation of the CD, or the book that came with the CD. There's that thing that has like lyrics and stuff in it, and then this thing that also has lyrics and artwork and all that. A couple months back, like not too long after I got this, I took this over to Jamerson's house. We started from the beginning and listened to this album all the way through, and I love the Infinite Sadness half of this album. Melancholy is cool. I mean, it's got the first half of it has got 1979 and Tonight and shit like that. But the second half, Fuck You and Ode to No One, what am I looking for here? Jelly Belly, Zero, To Forgive. I mean, it's just, dude, such a good album. Tales of a Scorched Earth, Bodies, XYU. Love this album. Love this album collectively. It is just phenomenal. And like I said, after this album, I didn't care about anything Smashing Pumpkins did. Have no desire to go see them again. Have no desire to really get into this band again. I am good at calling it a day with Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. I'm glad I got to talk about this thing on the show. And you're not a fan, right? You're not a fan of the Pumpkins?
Not really. It's again, it's a band that always, all my friends as a kid growing up were big fans of that band. And I respect Billy Corgan a lot as a musician, because like that's one thing that he made a lot of my friends happy, and I respected that, because you can't suck at what you do and be that successful. And I always gave him his credit where it was due, because he was a very successful musician. He probably could have been a lot bigger. And I remember that album. I think I was maybe the 9th or 10th grade when that Tonight was winning like every song at the VMAs one year, and like I'll be lying to you if I told you I wasn't sick of that. But like, again, like all my friends had like that shirt, either it was Zero or like the album art from that shirt, that cup, that album. But people love that band, and I can't hate on it, because made a lot of my friends happy, and that's all that's important, and especially you've got that cool pressing of the a box of it, I see. So yeah, I mean, like I know that they were a very important band to a lot of bands that we listen to today. At least that's something that means something.
There's a lot of memories behind this album, but the Pumpkins are one of those bands that were like, the vocals kill it for people. Corgan's voice kills it for people. It's just like the same with System of a Down or Primus or Rush or Coheed and Cambria. It's the vocals that make people not like the band. And I understand that completely. Corgan is kind of annoying at times, but Melancholy, so good.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, my pick is this is a really fucking cool band that I discovered. I guess this would have been the second time that I was seeing Lamb of God live. They were on a tour in the year 2001 called the Spring Break Your Neck Tour. The headliner was Cannibal Corpse, followed by Dimmu Borgir, who just released Puritanical Ethical Dystopia, I think the name of the record is. Followed by this band, The Haunted. They had just put out this album called The Haunted Made Me Do It. The cover is like a bunch of mug shots from serial killers, and it's kind of crazy shit. Some stuff on the back there. I was lucky enough to score this a couple years ago. Earache decided to start repressing shit from the early 2000s. I got this Gunsplatter vinyl. They sent me 2 copies. They sent me a green one, in which I traded with our good buddy Adam Jarvis. He hooked me up with some records from his collection for that. But
Oh yeah, I remember that whenever we met up with him in Baltimore.
sir, that is when that happened. This was a cool album. I don't know if you remember, there was a show on in the early 2000s on Comedy Central with the fighting robots. I can't remember what it was called. Robo Wars, maybe. Do you not
I
remember?
can't remember.
Well, anyways,
it.
whenever they would play these commercials for it on Comedy Central, they would always play this song called "Dark Intentions," the music from this album. I always remember first time hearing it, being like, "Yeah, that's The Haunted." The Haunted is a really cool thrash metal band from Sweden, thrash death metal band. I don't know how you want to say it. Featuring the 2 brothers who are in At the Gates. This is probably my favorite album by them. I know they've had after this album they changed singers multiple times. But yeah, Dark Intentions, Bury Your Dead, Trespass, Leech, Hollow Ground, Revelation, The World Burns, Human Debris. That's a fucking killer song. Silencer, Under the Surface, Victim Iced. This is a cool fucking record. This is really the only one I really listened to by this band. Actually checked out the follow up by this, and it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't as cool to me as this one is. But I love this record a lot. This was, especially my early days of getting into a lot of death metal and stuff. This album was one of them that I love and I'm happy to have on vinyl. But The Haunted, and how clever is that title? The Haunted Made Me Do It.
That is clever for sure.
I've always loved that. And
now, what year was that?
The repress was 2022, but I believe this album came out in 2001. There's no
copyright on it.
Well,
I'm saying, whenever bands were being blamed, the devil made me do it. I don't know if that was around the same time frame that they were trying to market that or what, but it's very clever either way.
2000, 2001, this album came out. One of those times. But the repress was 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Earache, I think that year I got like that, and maybe some of those Decapitated records, because like I said, they started to repress all the early 2000s stuff that Earache did, rather than repressing all the Carcass and other stuff that we'll get to a little later. But all righty. The next topic, right? We got one more.
Last topic.
This is one that we're actually bringing back from an earlier episode because we liked it a lot, and it's a good way for Jeff and I to bring some light to some bands that we haven't talked about yet. This is Never Heard of Them Part 2. Favorite record by a band that has never been mentioned before on Vinyl Bang.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun talking about just kind of having an oddball, free for all. You can just kind of talk about whatever you want. For this week. For this week's episode, I'm going to talk about something that I should have already talked about at this point. Having old Kurt back here behind me, being a big Kurt Cobain fan, I am going to talk about Fecal Matter, which was a project that consisted solely of Kurt on vocals and guitar, and Dale Crover, the drummer for the Melvins, did bass, drums, and backing vocals for this project. This is Illiteracy Will Prevail. This is 5, 8, 11, 12, 16 songs that a couple of them were morphed into Nirvana songs later on. Enter Exorcist was released as a Nirvana song at one point. Spank Through, Downer, a lot of these morphed into Nirvana songs later on. But just to have this, I forgot where I found. I think this was in Des Moines. I drove to Des Moines to see Buckethead back in 2014 or 2015. I stopped in a local record store there, and I picked up Sallival. Actually, I found a copy of Tool's Sallival, and this, as soon as I saw this, like I snatched it up. Like I heard old MP3s on the internet back whenever, I think LimeWire. I think for those, showing my age, for those of you who remember what LimeWire is, I think that was the first time I ever heard Fecal Matter. And whenever I saw this on vinyl for a whopping $26, I said, yeah, I don't care that this is a bootleg. I have to have this on vinyl. And I'm almost positive that not only is this Fecal Matter the band, it's actually Fecal Matter colored. So it's
That's
fun.
hilarious.
It's a brown shit colored vinyl. And it's just cool, being the big Nirvana fan that I am, just having, something that Kurt did way before Nirvana, or before Bleach, and, before they blew up with Nevermind, and just to, have some of his early stuff. Pretty cool. Fecal Matter.
Now this Nirvana band you speak of, who are they?
They're overrated. Yeah. Are you happy, champ? Are you happy? If you're watching this, they're overrated. Shut up about it. Quit calling me.
Pearl Jam is overrated.
Yeah. No, the last time him and I were texting, he said he ends every text conversation with Nirvana's overrated. And I said, you know what? They are overrated, but at least they don't suck as bad as Pearl Jam. And he said, whoa, 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 whoa. All
right. Moving on. This is a band, I remember I thought about this originally when we came to this. We came up with this topic weeks ago when we selected this one. And I remember thinking about doing this band. And then when I was going through my collection today, trying to figure it out, and I came across it, I was like, oh, yes, I have not talked about this band yet on the show. This is an Australian grindcore band, power violence, however you want to say it. They're called Shackles. This album is called Forced to Regress. I discovered this band in a weird way. The singer of Weekend Nachos, John, was doing like a Q&A on his Instagram story one night, and people were asking him what his opinion was on extortion. And I believe he said he wasn't a big fan as far as Australian grind bands. He suggested Shackles, and I was like, interesting. I've never heard of them, so I went and checked them out and found this record, and it fucking blew me away. I was like, wow, this is incredible, actually. And reached out to him, asked for what other albums he could recommend, and he said this is the only one he has. But this one is called Forced to Regress. This artwork's pretty fucking rad.
I'm trying to figure out what it is. Like, I mean, I see it's split in half, but like
a bunch of skulls.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of skulls split down the center there. The sleeve, the vinyl comes in, same deal.
Okay.
There we are. It's blue vinyl. Again, this is an Australian band, so the record label Resist Records is from Australia. Kind of hard to get my hands on this, but they're not cheap to ship to import stuff from Australia. Although I could have done this in the import thing, but no. Wanted to save this for a band that I haven't talked about. Forced to Regress. Yeah, you can see a better look of what the artwork is there.
Yeah, I can see it for sure.
And then a couple years later, they put out this album called Hatred's Reservoir. I think they changed up some members at this point. Like, this is a gold vinyl. They've got a lot of splits and 7 inches that are kind of tricky to get your hands on, because again, this was an Australian band, so a lot of their stuff was released out there. Unless you're like a hardcore, like devoted fan and trying to get your hands on stuff like I was trying to do, like I don't think it's easy to get like a lot of that stuff in America unless there's people who have it and just got sick of it and sold it. But like,
Right.
they're not like as well established as most of these bands. But even if they are well established in America, I believe most people just own what do you call it? The downloaded versions of these albums. But yeah, I hawked up a lot of money to get these shipped from Australia to here.
Right on.
Resist Records. I don't remember what else they put out, but yeah, this is a cool band. Power Violence. If I believe when JR was talking to you and me, and he was telling us that Pig the Shore is going to Australia, and they were trying to think of bands to open, and I suggested that band, Shackles, because they're pretty cool. I hope they're still a band, and if they are, I think they should absolutely be awesome as shit if they opened up for Pig the Shore while they were out there.
I'm looking them up right now. I want to listen to this band.
Yeah, dude, I think you'd enjoy them. I played them for Blake. I brought that Horse to Regress album over to his house one time, and we spun it a few times. He didn't hate it. He didn't love it, but he didn't hate it. I remember that.
I don't see them on Spotify.
I have some stuff I could send you later.
Cool. Yeah, I'm intrigued. I want to listen to this band.
Yeah. Hell yeah, bud. Okay. Well,
that's it for the new episode. No more topics.
That is it. Yes, I'm sweating it up here because we just killed it with that one. But Jeff, do you have any new stuff?
I got some new stuff. What about you? Do you got new stuff? Do you have lots of new stuff? A little bit of new stuff?
I got a lot of new stuff, but I want you to share your new stuff first.
All right. So I'm going to start off with, as usual, whenever I get these oddball formats, these things called cassettes. Cassette. I don't know what it's called. It's not vinyl, so it shouldn't even really be on the show. What I'm going to talk about, not bringing up cattle not talking about cattle decapitation. I'm going to talk about cattle decapitation. They just released the remastered audio for Human Jerky. This was from 2000. I don't even remember whenever they did this. 19, 20, 21. I don't even remember whenever they remastered Human Jerky. But the latest cassette is a glitter sparkle thing that you'd probably be able to see a lot better if I didn't have the glare from the lights. But yeah, this is how many times have they done this? This is the third copy of Human Jerky on cassette that I'm sure my wife is enjoying listening to me talk about right now. But yeah, that's item number one. Item number two is an album from 1984 that just celebrated its 40th anniversary. This is the second album from Violent Femmes. This is their Hallowed Ground album. This is a Barnes & Noble exclusive, limited edition Azure Blue vinyl. The Femmes did like 4 or 5 different pressings on vinyl, and the one on Barnes & Noble didn't require me to order anything or get it shipped through the mail. I was able just to go to Barnes & Noble and pick it up. And
awesome.
I love this album. Like earlier this year, I can't remember what it was. I saw them play the first 2 albums in its entirety. They started with Hallowed Ground and then played the debut album front to back. So great. It was such a great trip, being able to hear the first 2 albums in their entirety. This looks blue, doesn't it? Yes. It doesn't look purple or anything. Since my reds look pink. Yeah. Azure Blue vinyl, Hallowed Ground, awesome album. It consists of songs like Country Death Song, which is so much fun. I Hear the Rain, Never Tell, Never Tell. Sweet Misery Blues, It's Gonna Rain. It's just phenomenal album. I know my co-host here is not real well versed in the Femmes, no matter how much I've tried to. And I believe your sister was a fan, or still is a fan, maybe, of the Violent Femmes.
Yeah. I believe she is.
Yeah. That's your own fault. You need to listen to more Femmes.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. But they're not for everybody. You know, a lot of people just like their first album and don't really care about anything else. But moving on.
Mhm.
The second album is from Missouri Executive Order 44, which I made a big deal about a couple of, I don't know, it's been like 4 or 5 episodes back. Our good pal, our good buddy Josh Huddleston, who is the drummer for Yatsu, opened up for Missouri Executive Order in Kansas City a month or 2 ago. And I had never really paid attention to Missouri Executive Order. I'd seen them before, like they opened for Bandit last year. And I was like, you know, they're okay. You know, I just wasn't really paying attention. The venue they were playing in was hot and sweaty and, you know, just bleh. But this time I really watched Missouri Executive Order, and what a fucking band, dude. These guys are great. This is their EP, 17 Dead in Caldwell County, which is a county in Missouri. And this everything has to do with Amish. Or with, not the Amish, the Jehovah's Witnesses. Everything is all Jehovah's Witnesses. The run time for this, I believe, is like 17 minutes. 17 minutes on a 12-inch disc, and this is the screen print. It is the Jehovah's Witness bike helmet. You know, the stereotypical, you know, the symbol for, I guess, for Jehovah's Witnesses, and is just a one-sided vinyl. I was excited to add another record from these guys to my collection, just because I am a fan now that I've actually paid attention and realized the awesomeness that is Missouri Executive 44.
Mhm.
Awesome band, awesome power violence, grind, very fun band. Speaking of power violence and grind, up next is a compilation of demos from good friends of ours in Wormrot. I've already talked about this?
No.
I don't think I have. It just seems weird. I could have swore I've talked about this before. Anyway, Left to Rot is a collection of demos and EPs, splits from Wormrot, starting back in 2008. They have unused recordings, Why We Fight, Mass Disruption, Rapid Abortions of Ridiculous Proportions. They did a split with Diseptic in 2008. A lot of material on this thing. A lot of material. I don't know what the runtime is on this, but 34 tracks on a coffee splatter vinyl. A must-have for any fan of Wormrot, which I've been a fan for as long as I can remember. The OG lineup is back together, and I am so happy about this. I finally get to see the original lineup again whenever they come back to the States. Very excited about this news about Wormrot getting back together. Wormrot, Left to Rot, and the last thing that I am going to talk about today, and I don't know, well, I guess it doesn't matter if you're going to talk about your copy or not. Better Lovers, Highly Irresponsible. This is I don't even know why I try to show it on the camera. Yellow with black, brown, and red splatter. Out of all of the splatter, out of all the pressings that I've seen them showcase or seen them show off, this is by far my favorite pressing. And I just kind of grabbed this on a whim. But man, what a pressing, dude. I mean, this is just beautiful. The way this turned out.
Yeah, some nice splatter.
Yeah, it is a very nice splatter. I am very happy with this purchase.
Definitely, awesome. I would be too.
It looks awesome. Very aesthetically pleasing. The album itself is awesome.
Really cool album. Yeah, just saw them last Sunday. Good stuff.
Yeah, big fan of this band. So
yeah, man.
That's all I've got for this episode.
Hell yeah, dude. That was some cool stuff. And you know what? We planned that pretty well, because we are not sharing any of our new records. We had to split it up. We have a lot, and we don't know the next time we're going to record an episode. Hopefully it'll be sometime in the near future, but I'm glad you showed that one off, because that was cool. I like that album a lot, and that band is fun as fucking hell. I didn't have high expectations originally, but when I saw them live a weekend ago, it was fucking incredible. Greg still has so much energy, and I'm happy him and Jordan Buckley are linked up and are doing this band together.
Yeah, They're a great band, great live band. Huge fan of Greg's vocals, just his personality as a front man in general. Greg is just.
I couldn't agree with that anymore. Yeah, his vocals. Yeah, great vocalist for sure. Good vocal style, very unique. All right, I'm gonna try to rifle through this. I got a lot. I'm gonna start with this classic from 1991 that a previous guest on our show, Mr. Albert Mudrian, talked about. Dismembers like an ever-flowing stream, but mine, unfortunately, is just 4 words, not 5, like Albert talked about. This is a double LP. This is red vinyl. This is a pretty cool Swedish death metal band. If you're unfamiliar with Dismember, yeah, he even pointed this out on when he was on. This awesome back picture. This band, they're legendary Swedish death metal gods to a lot of people. They just played Death Fest this past year, and it was fucking awesome. Really happy to get my hands on this. Like I was talking about a while ago, there's a lot of legendary death metal albums that came out in 1991. This was one of them. Following into that theme is Entombed, Left Hand Path, another Swedish death metal album that came out in 1991. The fucking guitar tone on this record is so fucking insane. I believe this is the influence for Scott Hall had to have been listening to this when he recorded when he was making his guitar tone for Altered States from Agoraphobic Nosebleed, because that buzzsaw guitar tone, I fucking love it. The Black Breath does it too, but this is a great record. Rest in peace, LG. Left Hand Path, Drowned, Rebel in Flesh. I'm not going to read off all these song titles, but this is a really legendary album from 1991, death metal album that came out that year. A lot of great stuff came out that year. Another death metal album that came out in 1991. They're not from Sweden. This band, I believe, is from the Netherlands. Pestilence, Testimony of the Ancients. This is a cool fucking album. I don't know if this is their third album. I fucking love this record a lot. Cool shit on here. This came on how do you say it? Angonia Records. There's the repress, at least. Yeah, this is one of the records that I scored when I was out in Chicago with you, and just saw it on the shelf, and I was like, oh wow, like, had to grab this. This is a really cool fucking album. I'm stoked to finally have that in my collection. Next one. This is one of my favorite albums of all time. The story behind this really was this band recorded this album in 2001, and the label that they put it out on folded, and they really could not get the masters to it, so they just re-recorded it to put it on vinyl. The name of the band is Dog Fashion Disco. The album is Anarchist of Good Taste. Different artwork is for sure. All the songs are re-recorded. There's a song in here called Mushroom Cult. The original version has Surge from System of a Down on it. There are only 25 copies of this version that I'm about to show you. This is a very, very cool. It's a Wax Mage. This is actually the first Wax Mage vinyl I've ever owned. This was a very expensive record. I'm not going to tell you how much I paid for it, but
man, that's sick, dude.
This side is probably cooler, yeah.
God, that's awesome.
And then this side with from The
Shining.
There you go. Sorry.
Yeah. Dude, that's sick, dude.
Yeah,
congrats on scoring one of those on a Wax Mage, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, man, I really wanted to own this album. This band is just really important to me. This record, I remember working at a pizza shop like a year after this came out, and I would listen to this CD a lot and read the lyrics. And the original one, it had like all these little cartoon drawings inside the book. And each cartoon drawing went to one of the songs. And I remember like being able to sit there and look at each one and figure out which song it was based on the lyrics from the songs, because I listened to it so much. I was so hooked on that. Another album that I got, another legendary death metal album, did not come out in the year 1991. I would have been fucking rad as shit. This came out in 95. This is one of these albums that I've talked about on the show in the past that I really wish I had on vinyl. And one day I saw it for not very expensive. not as over the top expensive as they normally are, as I see it. But Deicide, Once Upon the Cross. Finally have a copy of this. Look at that shit. This is such a cool record.
Yeah.
I'm just, man, overwhelmed with happiness when I got this, when this came in the mail. I listened to it last week while I was doing my laundry, and man, this sounds fucking killer. It really does. This is such a legendary record. I'm knocking a lot of these bucket list albums off my list right now, because this was one of those albums. I know I talked about this Dog Fashion Disco album, which I'll talk about later in another episode, but like, happy to fucking have those two finally in my collection. Another one, which I have to credit my co-host for giving me the heads up on this. I guess one day Jeff was being nosy and decided to go through my Discogs to see what I had in my want list, and then and kudos to you, buddy, because you did well here. You really did. Like, the story behind this is, in 2004, this band put out this album, and I think I had it on CD. I remember seeing that there was like maybe one pressing in 2004, and then for many years they didn't do anything, and then somebody put it out a couple times, but like, they just finally broke up, and but Jeff, you found this somehow and sent me a link at the right possible time. This is a band called Misery Signals, of Malice and the Magnum Heart. This band is just, they're so fucking special. This record in particular is very fucking special to me. I remember getting this in 2004. A lot of great fucking music came out. A lot of great music, whether it was thrash, grindcore, metalcore, whatever the fuck it was. I was in a very unique stage of my life, because I was kind of phasing that new metal stuff out and was trying to get into a lot of more underground stuff. And I remember finding this record. It was originally came out on Ferret Records. This is a tidal wave pressing from Experience Vinyl. I saw another color pressing of this the other day on the internet for sale, but I bought this one. Limited to 300 tidal wave pressing. Does that look blue to you? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a blue marble.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This album just, it's so fucking good. Like, I remember the follow up. The singer of this album left, and I wasn't a big fan of the album after this and what they did. But I do remember buying this album and bringing it over to a friend's house, and they kept joking that it sounds too much like Misery Index, and I'm like, no, it doesn't. Did you even listen to it? I was like, but they were just being jackasses. And then the next time I came over to that friend's house, he was like, dude, this album is so fucking good. I was like, I know. And I mean, I even had one person tell me that he thinks this is the best metalcore album of all time, and it may very well be. This is a really good album. I think we were trying to listen to it. We were on road trip with each other. It was kind of like on random, and we just couldn't get like the full good version out of it, like I wanted you to hear. But I'm very happy to own this. Thank you so much for hollering at me and letting me know that this was out there, because like, this is one of those. In this episode alone, I've talked about 3 records that I've wanted in my collection for many years, and right now 3 in a row I've knocked out. Last one I'm going to talk about. Surprised you didn't talk about this first, Jeff. Can you kind of see what I'm talking about here?
I do. I know exactly what you're going to talk about.
The Terrifier 20th anniversary box set just came in the mail for me the other day. I know Jeff got his randomly on a holiday. That is weird.
Mine came on Veterans Day. It was like, what the fuck? I get mail on Veterans Day?
You must have paid for like the extraditing shipping.
They know who I am. That's what it is. Dude, that thing is so sick. God, it's just beautiful.
I'm not going to show every record in here. There's 4 of them, but there's a couple in particular I do want to show off, like this one.
Yeah.
This is the second disc in there. They did a very good job at packaging this, especially the way Relapse. Shout out to Relapse for this. And I believe the gentleman's name is Drew Jurgens, and I'd like to get him on the show. He works for Relapse. He's actually the guy who designs these records. I kept this, my little sticker.
Oh, I did too. Yeah, mine's in the middle as well. Yep.
Oh yeah, buddy. Fuck yeah. I like when you and I do smart shit like that, Jeff. The last
is that
one I'm
the Natasha disc, or is that the 3rd disc? Yeah,
this is the 4th disc. I thought this was incredible the way this turned out. You can see there's some sparkles in there, but the
sparkles through it. Yeah.
Drew Jurgens, if you don't know who he is, he designs a lot of these record designs for pressing designs for Relapse over the last couple of years, and he's a pretty brilliant guy in my opinion. I would actually love to have him on the show and have him talk about how he comes up with some of these ideas. But boom, there's that. This just the packaging on this is incredible. I'm fucking stoked as shit to get this. I didn't cough out and get the entire thing like Jeff got, but or the other disc like Jeff got, but this is just amazing stuff. Came with this little booklet as well that with some stuff that Scott and JR wrote, I think, in there. Mostly, I don't remember.
I believe it's mostly Scott.
There's a lot of pictures in there and fan stuff, but this is the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just it. That is what I got in this episode of new stuff. Again, I know I have at least 7 more new records laying around here, but maybe sometime in the next months, years, we can do an episode together again and hopefully share all that stuff, Jeff.
Hopefully.
I noticed your beard. You trimmed your beard since the last time we seen each other. So we'll see how long it is the next time we do an episode.
We will see how long it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little.
Got a Jim Gamble night.
Well kept this week.
Well, thank you so much to everybody for tuning in. This was a long one. This was a fun one. Thank you again to Alex Cha for the great suggestions. Alex, we could never do this without you, and we cannot wait to get you back on the show again, buddy, because again, your topics are amazing, and it keeps me and Jeff entertained. I'm really having a fun time picking records from your topics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's you are a gift, Cha. Thank you. Thank you for keeping us afloat. For giving me and Nick shit to talk about every week.
For sure. Well,
excuse me.
All righty. Well, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you, Jeff. And we will catch you all next week.
Yep. All right. See you guys.